Hi there, welcome to week 4. This week we're looking at Photoshop. Photoshop is part of the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite and it's a lot of fun and it helps enhance what we do for building websites, making our photographs beautiful, and there are many things we can do to our photos to enhance them and to have banners, etc. So they take a bit of time to get the feel for the system, but it's just a matter of practice and having fun with it. You can download a free 30-day trial at home, which we recommend that you do to have a practice, but you can also practice in the labs. For distance education students, it's probably better that you download a free trial for 30 days, and you can use the images to enhance what you do with your future assignments. So what we're going to do to start with is we're going to simply just cut an ordinary thumbnail which is used on the front page of a website. So the standard custom size is usually 100 pixels by 75. With the view, we're just going to we're not going to have an overlay, but you can use a grid, rule of thirds, to try and get the right effect that you like. You can use a grid, different ways. I'm choosing to just keep it quite simple. Don't really want the overlay, so that's what I'm going to do. So with a simple thumbnail I want to focus on these Australian soldiers here who are working in Afghanistan. So this is a sample of what we used recently for a project with the Australian newspaper. So here are the soldiers in action. All right, keeping it quite tight, simply just bringing into the area, bringing into that area that you want to cut, and it's really just resizing with the mouse. Okay, you can zoom right in, right out, right in, right out. I'm pretty happy with that. That's about the best I can do for that little crop. So all you do is you do a right click and then crop the size. Then you go to view to make sure it's at 100%, and that's the size that will appear on a website. Now you can sharpen it, so you go to filter, sharpen, unsharp mask, and then have it at 100%, radius of 1.2, threshold of 1. You have those settings, that's off to a good start. That has been sharpened, but it's probably a bit too much work for that photo, so I'm just going to go back a step, and I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so we're going to save that thumbnail now, so you can go save as. I'm going to call that Troops 14A, the thumbnail. It's a Photoshop document, so we can go back to the original with the Photoshop document. We can work on that simply by going back into history. We can, if you have a look at the history here on the right side, you can see here, if you can see my marker here, we can go back to the original, and then you simply save and press OK. If you want to save an image for the web, save for web, then it becomes a JPEG, and that's what we use. So it's 14A, and that's simply a thumbnail, and that's how you do it. Okay, so I'm actually going to go back to the original photo now. I just clicked on history, went back to the start. Now we're going to do a big size image, what we call a main event image. So I'm going to have it at 650 pics across and 400 pics down. So it's pretty much cut it for me, which is a bit of an automatic job. I'm going to move it a little bit over because I want to make the most of these beautiful mountains and blue sky. I'm pretty happy with that crop now. So just going to crop it to size, make sure it's at 100%. That's all good. And then now I'm going to save that. I'm going to save it first as a Photoshop document, crop it, and then I'm going to call that 14B, and save it as a Photoshop so that it can, we can always go back to it later and work on it. This now becomes a JPEG, okay? I can change the quality if you want, like you can change it to very high quality, but it affects the page weight of the web. So at the moment this is just programmed for 60 and that looks pretty good to me. I'm calling it 14B as a JPEG, so that's safely saved. Okay, so this is the size I want to, create. I want to create a promotion or a banner to help promote this series that we're doing. So what we're going to do now, just going to make sure that's cropped properly. Okay, so save again. Okay, that's cropped now. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to create a layer so we can write text, we can do banners. So we can have it news style, we can have it traditional style, and there are many ways we can do it. So first of all, we're going to go to layer at the top of Photoshop and just create a new layer. I'm going to call this Troops in Terrorzone, because that's a project we're working on. As you can see here to the right, we have a layer that we can actually work in. It doesn't affect the actual photo, but it's just a layer on top of the photo. You can change the layers as you work there. Okay, so what we're going to do is just go over to text, okay, and then click on the photo, and I've got it on Georgia. Maybe I want to change it to something a little more news style. So you can see there, I'm going to check out some fonts. So Franklin Gothic's quite a common news style font. Franklin Gothic Medium is used a lot. Right, it's used in regular, so you can use Franklin Gothic. If you use caps, it's a little bit more striking. I'm just going to reposition that. I'm going to actually bring it just down here on the mountains, on the top of the hills here, because I really like the effect of the sky and the snow-capped mountains in the background. So I'm just going to center that. And then go back to text, and we're going to just improve the background there. It's a little bit light. So you can go to this FX tool here, go to drop shadow, and this will help you to put a bit of darkness to the background, distance spread. You can see there that I've spread it right out of the picture there with the distance tool. Just trying to get a bit of depth to the words, bit of mood, and that's what you can do. Probably not really happy with the text, so I'm going to see if I can find a text that maybe is a little bit different. That's too light for me, don't really like it. Franklin Gothic, they don't have Franklin Gothic bold, so that doesn't really suit me. You can find different sorts of news styles, okay? Maybe if you go back to Helvetica, you might find something quite simple. Here's a sample for Helvetica. Does it have bold? Yes, it does. I like the bold better. So that's probably better for what I like, but I can just bring the text size back, say to 44. Maybe I can bring it up to 46, and that's sort of pretty much what I'm looking for. Okay, and that adds a bit of a statement. It's a matter of playing around with it until you're happy with its position. Probably want a little bit standing out a little bit more. So what you can do, you can apply stroke to it, but that's sort of a bit harsh. So maybe I can go back to 1. Looks a little bit better. I sort of like that. The stroke gives it just a little lining. Drop shadow, I could probably do a little bit more work on. Opacity, I probably want to improve. Let's make it a little bit darker and just try and get the mood right and subtle. little bit happy with that. Want the distance to be discrete. Spread probably doesn't have to be, probably can make the opacity a little bit lighter so it's not too dramatic. Size, it's a little bit clearer there. Yeah, much better, happy with that. And that's pretty much how you create a banner on top of a picture. So you can move it around, and just remember that every photo is different, words are different, and you can do like a little snapshot of words. So say for example, if you want to do a little teaser, you can do another layer. Let's call this intro, and let's just do it here. You want the text to be quite small, you don't want it to be too big. Let's start 24, see how we go. Okay, so it can be a little teaser, it doesn't matter what it is. This is just an example, and maybe I'm just going to reduce the point size, bring it in there. Want to line up the words, so let's go back into text. Let's put after down here. Let's actually create another layer, so it's no good. So let's go back into, going to just kill that layer there, put it into the rubbish bin. So I'm just going to take after out and put it in here, and that just lines it all up. So Afghanistan, just check all your spelling and make sure you'll all line it up now. So yeah, probably going to bring that size down a little bit more. Just brought it down 1 point. I like it in bold, I think that's the right thing to do. Let's bring it down to the corner a little bit more, make it even. Okay, so it's just a little teaser for what you're trying to promote with the story. Okay, so I'm just going to go back into the intro. I'm actually going to darken the background, go back into FX, and just have a bit of fun with that. That's obviously quite extreme what I've just done there, but I'm just trying to get the right balance. So that's probably a little bit dark. Alright, now I'm just going to make it a little bit more subtle. Colour's probably a little bit too harsh, so I'm just going to bring it and make it a little bit more grey. There's a gentler background on the dirt that you can see there. Bring that back a little bit more. Let's check the angle. Angle's too harsh there, it doesn't work. So that angle is a little bit better. Gonna see how it goes with one stroke. Too harsh there. Let's bring it back to 1. And that's not too bad. So that's how you can develop text on pictures. Then simply after that you save as, so you can always change it if you need to. And let's call that 14D, PSD, OK. And then save for web. And save. And that's how you create banners and text on a picture in Photoshop. Thanks very much.